Hey up everyone. So the other day I were on Twitter and I were reading this post from Andrew Voss, who was on that Sen podcast or whatever you call it, and he was saying that Jason Ryles in his view is coach of the year. Now, is Jason Ryles Dally M head coach of the year? Now, I know in my last video I upset a lot of people with what I said about Parramatta and how the club's going, but I want to say a few things, and the first one is, off the pitch, Jason Ryles has already done a lot. He's already made a lot of movements in terms of player retention and recruitment. He's gone in there, he's removed the deadwood, he's removed a lot of the old guard, if not all the old guard. He's put a lot of things in place for next season and beyond. And he's also, I will say one thing about Jason Ryles, he's got a lot of steel about him. The fact that he's a rookie head coach and he put his hand up and said, yeah, I'll be the head coach of Parramatta, a club where, and I know some people might laugh at me, is a massive club. There's a lot of pressure around Parramatta. They're always in the media, spoken about in the media. They've got a 40-year premiership drought. There's a lot of expectation from the fan base. And for him to put his hand up and say, I want that to be my first job as a head coach, does take some guts, especially when you had to go up to players like Gutherson and say, look, I know I've just been here 5 minutes, but you're going to have to move on, like, or, I mean, I want you in the team, but you're not going to be fullback, and if that's the case, you can move on, like, and that's it. So he's made some big calls off the pitch. On the pitch, obviously, we were 15th last year, 15th this year. Couple of big games coming up, which I'm a bit worried about, but is Jason Ryles head coach of the year? In my personal opinion, no, because, say, if we were top 4 or top 8 and he'd totally turned the club around in terms of results where we were actually playing finals this year after having 2 shite years, then yeah, you could probably say he was in the running for Dally M head coach of the year. But obviously Andrew Voss must be on some heavy drugs, because I think there's other people that are more deserving of Dally M head coach this year. And even I look back to Brad Arthur in 2012 and 2013, we were absolutely diabolical, become dead last, wooden spoons back to back, horrible roster. Brad Arthur coming in 2014 for basically pretty much that entire year up until the last 2 rounds we were in the top 8, and Brad Arthur weren't even considered for head coach, Dally M head coach that year. And in 2017 he took a club that had just had their spirit ripped out of him, broken through the salary cap in 2016, took him to a top 4 spot in 2017, come within this close of beating Melbourne in the qualifying final, weren't even considered for the Dally M head coach of the year. So you know, I think Jason Ryles has done an alright job off the pitch. Result on the pitch, not so much, but I mean, in my opinion, he's not Dally M head coach of the year.